What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today to dig into a little baseball. Baseball is back. Opening day is this week. And I had an epiphany driving home from the local show today. I was going to make one video, and it kind of morphed into something else. Spoilers for upcoming pickup video, but I picked up a Bowman Chrome rookie auto today and this is Sunday, of a all-star multiple MVP level player. If you follow me on IG, you know who it is. The price point was extremely appealing, in my opinion, given the track record of the player, what they could potentially do, lineup, etc. That's neither here nor there. But it was more, it put in my mind of, wow, he is that cheap, air quotes, that cheap. It was not a super cheap card. And some of these first Bowman, specifically autos, go for insane amounts of money when the player hasn't done anything. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure people look at some of the money that I spend on NBA cards for players that have done next to nothing, the amount of money thrown at John Morant, all sorts of stuff. People can look at this from different angles. Baseball prospecting has always been the thing that has absolutely baffled me. Just baffled me. The amount of money thrown at a first Bowman auto is insane for guys that are a year away from the major leagues, have never played in the major leagues. The announcement of their MLB debut spikes prices. All this sort of stuff has always been something that I could not wrap my mind around. And it's been the one part of sports card collecting, investing, flipping, whatever you want to call it, that I have always steered far away from. When it comes to baseball, I will wait and then find areas of opportunity on guys once they are established. I know a lot of people that make a ton of money flipping prospect autos and just prospect cards in general. It has never been my thing. Last year, and this is where we kind of get into how this video came about. Last year, Wander Franco was the hype of hype trains. And we're going to circle off of Bowman autos into just straight Bowman Chromes. Just base Bowman Chromes. Because it's what most people are transacting in that dollar level. You know, a lot of people aren't throwing around $3,000 to $5,000 for a first Bowman Bobby Witt or whatever. But a couple $100 for a first Bowman Wander Franco, you get caught up in the hype. Absolutely. Last year, Wander Franco was hyped to the high heavens. Spring training rolls around. He hits a home run in spring training. His prices spike way up. I famously, either in a specific video on that or just the video I made that week, I said I would be selling him as fast as humanly possible. And some people were like, yep, you're right. And some people were like, you lost your mind. And I could have been wrong. I mean, crazier things has happened. But my general take with the prospects is just sell the hype. 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up on the positive side. Because for every Mike Trout, there are a billion guys that are not Mike Trout. Even, I went through and researched guys like Mookie Betts has had a hell of a career. His first Bowman auto, specifically in this case, is like a $2,000 card. That's less than what, or on par with what a Spencer Torkelson auto is going for right now. And there's a bunch of different examples that I could talk about for this. But in this case, I was just talking about Wander Franco's base Bowman Chrome. Nothing fancy. It's this card right here. Got it up in Market Movers. Link in the description down below if you want to check it out. A new promo code. If you've never checked out Market Movers and you want to, use promo code and you get your first month for $1. But this card right here, first Bowman Chrome, back last, and this is like the winner of / beginning parts of 2021. You could see this was about $150, $160 card. It steadily climbs up as hype for the season begins. And to be clear, general hype for the card market as well. 2021, we're talking about the peak of when things went to crazy town regarding prices. But here he is. He hits his spring training home runs. Right at the very beginning of spring training, it pops all the way up to over $300. At this point, I said sell. And I think Wander Franco is probably going to be a pretty good Major League Baseball player. But so much stuff gets baked in and expectations do not meet reality. This is a classic case of they let you buy them back. And I think people get mixed up thinking that when, we talk about selling a card, buying a card, whatever, people were like, oh, no. Wander Franco is the next greatest thing. His cards are going to be worth thousands. That's fine. You're allowed to rebuy him again. It was as plain as day that his stuff was going to go back down again. It was a spring training home run. And this was back before the new recent rule changes where you probably weren't going to get called up to start the season. So odds are he was going to go down to the minors and his card prices would have fallen just based off that alone. And lo and behold, what happened? He hit the home runs. They spiked. Spring training rolls on. This creeps down into the mid twos, continues to fall, gets, a little bit of run in May. Maybe he's going to come up, gets it back up to 285, goes back down again. We get into June, kind of craters out at about $220. Then what happens? He gets the call. Goes from 215, skyrockets to 308. And he hit a home run in his major league debut, if my memory is correct. And boy, did that not last. It went up to 308, basically the peak of what it was before at 331, and then came down right quick, went even lower than it was before. This card got all the way down to $160 and then rallied back as he got hot late in the season into the playoffs, and then it pulled back again and has leveled off since and currently sits at $200 again. Basically what it was all the way back in mid-January of 2021. So there was essentially 2 or 3 sales at well over $300, and actually his highest peak was in the initial spring training home run, not the day that he actually hit a home run at his MLB debut. Now, where am I going with all this? The Major League Baseball season is set to start, and we have been getting news the last couple days. Bobby Witt Jr. has made the team out of spring training. Spencer Torkelson has made the team out of spring training. Julio Rodriguez, we have not heard official yet at time of recording. There's been speculation that he might, but there's also been a lot of speculation that the Mariners are the Mariners, and he probably will not make the team. He'll come up later in the season. Regardless, Bobby Witt and Torkelson have gotten spikes off of the news that they have made the team. I've zoomed this out 90 days. You can see, and Bobby Witt was getting hype in general as he has been playing pretty well in spring training. This was a $182 card. Once again, just base Bowman Chrome, nothing fancy. First Bowman Chrome, going for $182. Starts to climb up, and then we find out just over the weekend that he makes the team. This is now a $300 card. Does this look familiar? Torkelson, he had kind of slipped down to 146, 150. The news comes out, couple quick sales. He's up to 190, almost $200 now. Pop 550 on this one. This is from 2020. Not as many in circulation yet. And Bobby Witt, where everyone was sending those in, that's pop 1400 with a lot more of those circling out there. Now, for perspective, Wander Franco's is over 10,000. Now, I have heard that 2020 was not the greatest quality control, so maybe that will impact the population reports a little bit. Regardless, this is a base card. These are plentiful. When you can make good profit on modern base cards, you take it and you run. You can always, these are always going to be available. This is not a numbered refractor. When stuff like this spikes up, make your money, take your profit, and if you really like the player, I can almost guarantee there will be areas of opportunity for you to buy that card back later in the season, later in the spring even, or maybe in the next off season. Who knows? There will be a window available because none of these guys stay ridiculously hot forever. Julio Rodriguez, he was from 2019, so his stuff's been circulating a little bit more. Population report on this one is over 6K. Now, no news has come out with him yet, but his stuff has slowly been climbing. Now, he's one I would wait for the call up at this point or the news. I wouldn't move it. And I'm not a prospect guy. I know that these are 3 super hyped guys along with Wander Franco. I cannot sit here and give you all the Baseball America facts. All I know is what the card market, how it usually reacts to stuff like this. The news spikes the card. It never holds those sales. Make your money. It's going to fall back down again, level off. And then if you want the card back, you could buy back into it. They let you do that. One of the rules of the channel. If people only take a couple things away, when I am long gone and no longer making YouTube videos, if people only take away a couple of things, they let you buy them back. And I'm not the first person to say this, but if you really believe in the card, buy multiples if you can, because it gives you more options down the line and makes your decision easier if you have multiples of the card. I was talking about Devin Booker in the Sunday video. One of the commenters who comments on a lot of videos talked about how he bought Devin Booker's at Christmas for $300 or whatever they were, sold one about a month ago for $5 or $5.25, took the money on that one and is now basically paid for his other one almost, or he's into it for next to nothing. And now he gets to ride that one into the playoffs to see what happens. Things like that are how you limit your downside risk in this market and also make your decision points easier. Knowing when the buy is typically pretty easy, knowing when the sell is a little bit trickier. Sorry for a little side tangent there, but. So long story short, and I own no Bobby Witt. I had Bobby Witt. I moved it a little while ago. Just a mega box refractor, nothing crazy. I own no Julio Rodriguez. Spencer Torkelson could walk into my house right now. I wouldn't know who he is. If I had Witt and I had Torkelson, at least common cards, more frequently transacted cards like this, I would strongly consider, in fact, encourage to take your profits on them if you are making profit on them. Maybe you're not. I don't know. I don't know when you bought into something or what type of situation you're in. Do your own research, dive in, whether it's Market Movers, Card Ladder, whatever, eBay sold results, if that's your thing. Do some digging on this. Don't just take my word for it. But based off what we've always seen, I would be selling these guys right now, especially the common stuff. Take your profits on stuff like this, and then that will allow you, maybe you have some nicer Bobby Witt, lock in the profits on the cheap stuff, and then that helps protect you on the higher end stuff if it happens to pull back. What is probably going to happen? Let's go in the prediction territory now. We've kind of been there most of this video, but take this Bobby Witt, for example. It will probably continue to climb over the next few days. The season's going to start. Unless he comes out just raking, which, maybe he does. Maybe he comes out and he's just crushing the baseball. Then it might continue to spike up. We saw it with Acuna last year. We saw it with Vlad, Ohtani, so on and so forth, where these guys get ridiculously hot and their prices do continue to spike. Is that on the outcome tree? Yes, 1,000%. Most likely, he's going to come out. He's going to play fine. He'll be good. He'll probably have some good games, have some bad games, hit some home runs, be in and out of the news, put up a perfectly fine season. What's going to happen? His card prices are going to pull back. This will not be a $300 card. Look at what Wander Franco did last year. Once again, the exact same thing. Guy hit a freaking home run in his major league debut. The most hyped prospect we've had in a few years. And look at how quick that came crashing back down to earth. Once again, you could have had it anywhere in here. You could have sold at the peak of the hype at the beginning of the baseball season or beginning of spring training in this in this example. Sold here, let the market do its thing, bought back any time in here, would have made your money up here, bought back here, and now you are still slightly up over when you bought in. It's a $200 card back in the midsummer. It was $160, $170. Regardless, even if you bought it at $200, you could have had it back here for $150 because maybe you got in early, sold it here, let's just say for $250, and then bought it back here for $175. You got the card back and you made $75 in the process. And then that's, excluding peaks and valleys, because there's only one or two people that buy at these points here and one or two people that sell at these points here. My opinion, Witt, Torkelson, I would just take the profits now and move it into the next thing and look to buy them back later. You could expand this out if you wanted to, but I understand how it gets a little bit more dangerous, or people get scared off. Like their first Bowman autos are selling for astronomical sums of money. Honestly, I would potentially look to take profit out of those as well. Those get a little bit trickier because if the player does catch on, those get big time. Whereas as these base common cards, not so much. A first Bowman prospect, Acuna, who's one of the most hyped modern players, has had a couple amazing seasons behind him, is coming off an ACL tear. But for comparison's sake, His first Bowman Chrome base sells for about $300. That's what Witt's going for now, and he's yet to make his major league debut. Just kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about this stuff. That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Curious for your thoughts and comments, as always, down below. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.